Hey, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and you're listening to the Views Express podcast. It's not live, and it's not Memorex. It's Spreaker. So there you go. Anyway, got a lot to share with you today. Got a lot to give to you in the next few minutes. Come check out the Views Express live, broadcasting from Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right there. Now, my first thing I want to say is my thoughts and prayers go to the family and friends of Ron Palillo, who passed away. He was 60-something, 61, 2, 3, somewhere around in there. You remember him as Horshack on Welcome Back, Kotter, if you're old enough to remember that show with Gabe Kaplan and John Travolta. That makes two this year. Robert Hedges, who was Epstein on the same show, passed away earlier this year. So they're all going away. So thoughts and prayers go out to him. There's a lot that really has, well, let's just say, put me at a point at which I just want to go out, and if I'm talking to someone about what's going on, I want to grab their shoulders and shake them to the nth degree. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this is just me, as far as I'm concerned, people just don't get it. Okay? People just don't get it. I wish they did, but they don't. So what do? I think what we need to do is we need to pay attention to what's going on around us. I mean, you can all walk outside, go to the mall, whatever it is you're doing, and you will see what's happening. It doesn't take a freaking rocket scientist to figure out what's going on. We are incrementally, if not entirely, immediately being brought into a tyrannical system, a fascist system. And as far as I'm concerned, for me, that's not going to work. And for all you people that love liberty and freedom and stuff like that, that's not going to work. But look, over the years, we have had certain little things. You know, man has made up these laws. Man went, you know what? The Bible says not to kill people, so we're going to make some laws that say you can't kill people. But if you do, it's either in self-defense and you're justified for doing that, or if you just go out because you're just a dumbass and you kill someone, whether it's, by hand, with a weapon, or in your car, we're going to have stages or degrees of murder or manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter or whatever it is. Man has made up these rules to govern man, when the system itself can govern itself quite well, thankfully. When people use common sense, when they understand exactly where they stand and what they believe. I just heard a program earlier, nationwide. It's online. It's syndicated, and the host was talking about the cameras everywhere and all of that. Is it good? Is it bad? And a caller called in saying, I'm all for the government doing this. I trust my government and all this. Well, he's going to be off to the sheeple farm. Because he has no clue, absolutely no clue whatsoever. Okay, he's dumb as a box of rocks, always has been and always will be. because of the fact, and I'm only using that scenario of earlier today as a general observation to say this. There are people out there dumber than a box of rocks, have no idea what's going on, will never have any idea what's going on, and probably will never know what true freedom really is. Seriously. You know? So we'll talk about that when I get back from this break. Remember, if you want to email me here at the show, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You want to email the show, go ahead and do that as well. The show email address is libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. And remember, views expressed Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. I shall return right after this.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Have you heard about a show called Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri? It's a talk show. Well, it's called Grab Bag Potpourri for a reason. They talk about everything under the sun, from education to politics, from lines at the cashier in the stores to parking lot drivers not paying attention. You want real radio? Well, you don't get any more real than that. That's Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of fun.
We went to the streets to ask people, what do you like about Doc FM?
Oh, well, I think he's sexy. He has a very sexy voice, and he makes my headphones tingle.
I think the doctor is very smart. Everything he tells you, you must learn it, because it is smartness to know. Plus, he plays my favorite music. He plays like the 80s and the 70s and the 44s and the 62s.
J'ai pas eu une seule occasion de rester sans rien faire depuis que je suis arrivé à Camelot. Je suis trop occupé à courir derrière Arthur. Fais ci Merlin, fais ça Merlin. Et quand je cours pas derrière Arthur, je fais des corvées pour vous. Et quand je fais pas ça, j'accomplis mon...
Doc FM on Spreaker.com.
Well, it's no secret that Doctor won't play none of that countrified music, so I don't really listen to him that much, but when I do, it's a hold down. The first time that I listened to the Doctor, he was making fun of the British. After I got over my attitude, I came back and listened to him. He's wonderful and raucous.
Listen to Doc FM every Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Central, right here on Spreaker.com.
Thank you. And this is the Views Expressed podcast, not live. We are not live. We are live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Come check us out. Have a lot to discuss before the show today, and I thought I'd put a little podcast together for people. So if you want to follow along, please do at Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I want to say something, and I'm big on education. I'm big on homeschooling. I'm in total support of getting your kids out of the governmental indoctrination institutes. I'm big on really getting rid of the National Education Administration because the government doesn't need to run it. I believe in putting all of that education, departments or anything that you would have in an educational field into the hands of the states. Okay, not the federal government. I also, believe that the teachers union needs to go away. Now, why do I say that? Well, I say that for two reasons, and I know I'm going to get hate mail for this. Get rid of the teachers union. What? They need money. Okay, all right. Let me ask you this. Okay, let me put it to you this way as the phone is ringing. See, live podcast. I don't know who it is, so you're going to hear the phone ring 2 more times. 1 more time after that. But anyway, I know I'm going to get hate mail for this. I know it. I know what I'm about to say, I'm going to get hate mail for. I know this. Okay? And that is, get rid of the teachers union. Here's why. If your area, wherever you are living, is consumer driven, then that market will be absolutely sustainable when it's consumer driven. Now, what do I mean by that? And how does this relate to teaching and teachers unions and getting rid of them? Let me boil it down to you. The market, okay, out there in the business world, all of that, they are corrupting the system, causing cancer in the system, causing problems more than it's worth. In other words, yeah, on one hand, you're going, this is what we need because teachers need X amount a year because they're teachers. I understand that. My mother worked in the school district. I have a niece that works in the school district. I know a lot of teachers in various aspects of teaching. I know professors. I know community college instructors. I know a lot of people. Okay, because I'm big on education. But when you have a system causing corruption, meaning if you look at it at rust on your cars or whatever, if it's decaying from the inside out, there has to be something that's going to solve the problem. Okay? There's going to be something that has to be inserted into the system that solves the problem. The solution is consumer-driven economy. In other words, I pay for what I believe it's worth. Okay? A lot of people say, well, teachers aren't going to get paid that much if you look at it that way. Yes, they are. I'll tell you why. It's real simple. By the way, do you know what 1 + 1 is? If you're a teacher, you know. It's this simple. You don't have an entity outside of your system telling you that if your school, your business, whatever, wherever you're working is not paying you enough, go on strike. We'll protect you. Really? They haven't done so in the last 65 years or however long unions have been together. That's the problem. Because they are market-driven, not consumer-driven. Okay? They're driven by business dollars, not consumer dollars. Now you might think, well, I go and buy stuff. And let me boil it down for you right now, right here. Let me make it simple. The solution to the education problem and paying teachers what they're worth is should be entirely based upon the consumer, not the market, the union, the school, the system, which is internally corrupted and corroding from the inside. And I'll tell you why I say this. Look at how many people, look at how many parents, single parents, couples, whatever, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, look at how many people have gone and taken their children out of the public school system and homeschooled them, or put them in charter schools, or put them in, either there's other schools around as well, or taught them online. There's this thing here in Reno, Nevada called Wolf, wolf.com or something like that. And it's for, it's for people that are just totally not with the system. But there's some other, extenuating circumstances of that too as well. But the unions are corrupt from the inside out, and they are destroying the consumer. Financially, psychologically, physically. They're just destroying everything, okay? Now, let me say this to clear up a lot of your disagreements. I am all for paying a teacher what they're worth. Well, if it wasn't for the union, they wouldn't get it. Yes, they would. From the consumer. Well, that means that if we don't have schools governed by the National Education Association, we'd have to pay tuitions for our 6-year-old to go to elementary school. Yeah, what's so wrong with that? When it's consumer driven, the competition amongst the elementary schools in your area will be fierce, but it will be healthy. I myself personally have talked to people who said the elementary, junior high, and high schools should have tuitions to curb, this is what people have told me, to curb the intervention of unions in the schools. They're not anti-union people. They verified that to me. I'm not anti-union. I do believe that a portion of, or I should say, the reason that things are so bad is that there is a portion of the market that is corroding from the inside out by the corruption from the unions, whether that be in transportation, whether that be in shipping, receiving. I know, that's my forte. I came out of that, shipping and receiving and warehousing. I know about that, all right? So when you take a society as a whole in general and help it become consumer-driven instead of market-driven, wages go up, the economy rises, things become better, and you and I make a living. When it's market driven, you've got competition between this, and this. Then you have higher ups that are suppressing certain innovative techniques that could allow better, more efficient products or services to be, given to the people. I mean, and of course you got the unions, who say, well, if your company is not going to do what you tell them to do or we tell you, just strike. We'll put them out of business that way. Then if you're out of business, you're out of work. Hello. I know people who worked union jobs in trucking. And the union said, go on strike because you guys need more money and better benefits. Dude, put 1 and 1 together. 1 + 1 = 2. If the company's not making money, you're not making money, and you're not getting better benefits. And I've seen more and more companies fire all those people and hire the scabs that came in. And guess what? Most of them are Mexican. I don't have anything against Mexicans. Matter of fact, I like everybody. But the thing is that when you look at the whole, I'm telling you, this is my observation. You can go out and observe this yourself. You see this on your own. There it is, right then and there. You cannot get away from it. There's a cancer within the market, and it comes, I don't know where specifically it comes from, but as an aggregate, as a whole, you've got people wanting more money, which then in turn the unions jump in and want the company to pay more money. And if the company's not making the money that it should or that it was projected to make in a year, in the following year or the following 2 years, then you're going to be out of work, and then what? Then what? You know what I'm saying? Then what? Okay? So it doesn't pay to have unions anymore. When they started out, 40s, 50s, it was great because workers got together and, doubled up their fists and made their point. But because of the wages that were paid out, companies went broke and had to pass on the costs to the consumer. Okay? And that's just the way it is. So, the phone's ringing. They're going to get the voicemail. I'll call them back when I'm done here. We only got like maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes left because you need to come to the show, The Views Expressed, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to talk more about this. What we need to do is we need to, really look at this whole system and say, what is better for our economy? Consumer-driven economy or a market-driven economy? When I say market, I'm talking about your stores, your corporations, all this, that, and the other thing. What's better? A consumer-driven economy is better. Not trickle up, not trickle down. It is there because you and I buy stuff, do we not? So if we bought stuff, how many people in the last 4 years, 6 years, 8 years have gone from buying at, like, say, Gottschalk's and JCPenney's and all those places to going to the dollar store and Walmart and Kmart and Target because prices are lower and our dollar goes farther, right? Duh, consumer-driven economy. Hello, it works. Well, then the stores and all that, they'll go out of business because then they won't have enough. Yes, they will. And I'll talk about that on the show today, The Views Expressed, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I got to tell you, it's better to have a consumer-driven economy than it is to have a market-driven economy. It is. Because the market-driven economy is Marxist, fascist, dictatorial, socialist, whatever. And they have no heart for the consumer. They're saying, well, we're going to raise our prices, 5% this year over the next, 6 months. And, you're just going to have to pay it. Well, I can't afford it because I just got laid off my job. Well, that's tough for you, huh? No. The consumer needs to tell the business, no. Dude, last year I paid X for that product. This year it went up? No. You're going to bring it back down to where I can afford it. And a lot of companies won't do that. They'll just tell you, well, go someplace else. Okay, I will. And I'll tell hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other people not to go to your store. How's that? Because you get on Facebook, you get on YouTube, you make your own YouTube videos, and you stand out in front of the store and say, this store does not do it, whatever, do your own little civil disobedience, and do what you have to do. You don't want to drive them out of business. You want to put a black mark on their name so that people will know, oh, don't go there because, they don't give a crap about the consumer. You could probably say that for thousands of businesses in America, huh? Anyway, let me go to break. I'll come back. I'll wrap this sucker up, and I'll take you out of here, all right? All right, I'll be back after this. Come join Reverend Wayne S. Pierce on The Views Express, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com.
Hey everyone, it's me, J-Man, from The J-Man Show. Rather than go on about how great I am as a radio personality, I'm gonna invite you to the show, so you can hear how great I am. What show? The J-Man Show. It airs every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and weekdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and weekdays 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
The views expressed with your host, Reverend Wayne, on Spreaker.com.
Hey everyone, it's me, J-Man, from...
Yes, that was J-Man. He's on Spreaker. It's a good show. Go check it out. Sorry, the music didn't end. I hit the wrong button. So, hey, you know, stuff happens. Yeah, you're laughing your butt off. It's okay. It's quite all right. Stuff happens. Yeah, take two. All right, let's see if we got this down now, right? This is the 14th of August, 2012. Yeah, like I was saying, you know, unions, are they good, are they bad? I don't know. Are they good or bad? Do we need them, do we not need them? Well, let me ask you this. Let me put this into your mind for a second. And let me zero in, let me direct your attention to this. 52 million or 52 billion or $52 million to foreign aid. $52 million or something of that nature. It's a lot of freaking money to foreign aid. Let me go to Liberty and Freedom Network. Maybe I can find the right numbers for you. There was a picture I probably put up here on Liberty and Freedom Network. Nope, I didn't. I'm just looking now. But lots of money is being spent on foreign aid that should be spent right here. If I were president, I would say three things. First, I would go to Congress and tell them, your constituents, the people that put you here in office, are very ashamed of you, and I'll tell you why. Because you think you belong to the big boy club and you can do whatever you want. Well, guess what? If you're not going to do exactly what the people tell you to do that put you here in that seat, I'll accept your resignation in 48 hours. I give you that long because you have to have time to clean out your office. Then I'd say something else, and I'd look right in the camera. American people, you put me here. You put these congressmen and women here. You're our boss. Whatever it is you need done, we'll take care of it. And the first thing I'm going to take care of right now is I'm signing an executive order getting rid of all other executive orders that were ever signed in the last 10 years. I'm going to nullify all of them so that you can be safer by following the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Now, some congressmen wouldn't be really happy about that, but I really don't care. I'll fire their butts in a heartbeat. Okay? Third thing I would say is this. We've got education, transportation, law enforcement, all of that bleeding money, hemorrhaging money out every orifice, and they are suffering. Well, guess what? I don't know what to do in that regard, but I can tell you this. Education belongs in the state, doesn't belong in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement stays in the state, doesn't belong in Washington, D.C. Okay? Your health belongs in the state, not in Washington, D.C. You people know how to take care of yourselves. We don't. We've screwed things up. Oh yeah, the postal service, it's all going to be privatized now. That's the next executive order I'm going to sign. It's all going to be privatized. You want to make money? You better do some car washes or, pie sales or candy sales, because we ain't giving you any more money. Okay? DHL or DL, whatever it is, Federal Express, UPS, they're all privatized. They're all doing great. Well, sort of. Federal Express, not federal, but it's Express. We're not going to bail anybody out. The Fourth And the last thing I would say if I were president, I would look in the camera and tell each and every single leader of every other country we've loaned money to or given given aid to humanitarianly or whatever it is. I would look at them and go, you've got 6 months to a year to pay us back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be here for 4 years. I'm not going anywhere for a while. So you've got 1 year at least to come up with a repayment plan to us, our treasury, and our government. If you don't have that, and if you refuse, we're cutting each and every single one of you off. We have a country to rebuild and get back on track. And if you don't like it, tough. Put on your big boy pants, come to the table, and we'll talk. If you don't like it, bye. I mean, that's just the way it is. You got to play rough with these people. Now, I don't care if somebody says, well, you got to negotiate this, and you got to do this, and you got to know how to finagle and hustle and haggle and all. No, I'm not a freaking used car salesman, okay? If I was president of the United States of America, I would stand on the Constitution and Bill of Rights and say, countries, this is what you're going to do. If you don't like it, hey, hope you have a nice life because we're cutting you off. And what are you going to do about Iran and Iraq and all the wars and all that? Well, first things first. We're going to look strategically at everything going on militarily all over the world. And the first question I'm going to be asking is my military leaders is, do we really need to be there? Well, Mr. President, we have information, and it's bullcrap. There's only 3 places we need to be. Number 1 on the top of the list, our military needs to be home right here in the United States of America. Secondly, our military needs to be over in our allied countries. Japan, Germany, places like that. We need to be over there in those crucial areas. And the third thing is, we don't need to be in an area that is controlled and run by big banks or offshore interests or anything of that nature. Because, number 1, we're not the world's police. Okay? That's just the way it is. Now, a lot of the military leaders are going to look at me and go, well, we need, Iran and this and Afghanistan. No. We were there twice before, and we, lost our ass in both times. So, no, we're not going back. They want to fail, that's on them. They want to kick some butt, that's on them. Okay? It's not our war to fight. It's their war. But Israel's going to pull the button and bomb Iran. And? Well, we need, we'll back Israel, but we ain't backing Iran. They got a fascist dictator over there, and the less we deal with them, the better. Sanctions? Screw that. Cut everybody off. Okay? Anybody that is dealing with Iran on commercial, interests or whatever, cut them off. Well, that's not going to make us any money. It's not about money. It's about freedom. It's about, a representative republic. It's about people being, having liberty, knowing within themselves that they're a free, sovereign people. And if Iran can't get up, if the people of Iran cannot get up off their duff and get that dictator out of office, I'm not feeling sorry for him. Same thing with Israel. You people have fought for, thousands upon thousands of years for a piece of little land that you think is yours? Well, we've tried negotiating with the Palestinians, and they just won't, budge. Because you want too much. So do they. What, you're going to call on the UN and call on the U.S. to come in and try to negotiate? No. Go back to the original document over 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago. Hello? Or however long it's been. When God speaks, you listen. God said, that is Israelite land. Not Palestinian, Israelite. Got it? Now you're going to work with the Palestinians to try to make a better life for everybody. If you can't do that, we don't want to see bombs going off. If I was president of the United States, that's what I would tell them. Well, what if the Palestinians go against the Israelis and start bombing again? Well, I'll just put it to you this way. 3, 2, 1, kaboom. It's the way it's going to be. You're not going to play well with other people. You're not going to play. Well, that's going to cause the UN to get really pissed off at the U.S. because they're going overboard. Blah, 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 blah. I've heard now getting back to me here. I've heard all the arguments. I've heard every single argument and excuse that you can ever think of to not back Israel. And I've heard every single argument where we should be backing or trying to get in there to negotiate to either, make these two countries and peoples, work together. And I've heard every argument against and for the Palestinians. And guess what? It doesn't fly with me. It boils down to one simple thing. Also in the U.S., with unions and businesses and consumers and all, it boils down to one very basic, simple solution. Common sense. Common sense. Do we, as consumers, go to the company and say, look, last year your product was at this price, this year it's gone up. I can't afford it, you're going to bring it down. And if the company says no, you go elsewhere. That's consumer-driven economy. The market would tell the consumer, no, it's going to stay at this price. You're just going to have to buy it. No, I'm not. There's other places out there I'm going to. That's healthy competition. When it comes to geopolitical things such as Israel and Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and all that, it boils down to one very simple solution. Common sense. And the only reason why any of them are arguing is because somebody wanted something for themselves, their way, and piss on everybody else. Kind of sounds like the President of the United States, doesn't it? To the citizens of the United States. I don't care what you want. We're doing it our way. Really? Yeah. Well, healthy competition in that regard is called the ballot box. And Mr. President, we're going to fire your ass because we don't care. You've screwed this country up in the last 3.5, 4 years, and Romney's not going to be any better. You're the puppet master, playing him. People are playing you guys. You're both bought off by the same freaking group of bankers and Bilderberg members, so it doesn't really matter. Okay? We are on to your scam, Mr. President. Okay? We understand this. We understand this. All right? I'm at the point where, is it worth the argument? Is it worth it? For freedom and liberty, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your friends, your county, your city, your government, your local governments, for the sake of your state and your country, you better believe it's worth it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you people what to do. You already know what to do. Seriously. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, and I could be wrong in some things. But that's okay, because that's where you people come in. Help me understand what's happening. And don't give me your liberal view of, well, you're wrong because the news and the organizations and no. Don't give me that crap. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear your view, what you have found out, not what you're going to parrot from the liberal media that's feeding you that garbage, okay? Give me your heart and soul in this. Email the show, email the views expressed at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. You want to email me personally on the show? Email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And I can tell you this much. Okay? Like I said, I don't know it all, and I could be wrong. I know what's coming down the line. I'm not going to say anything for a little bit, but I'm going to vet some of this stuff out. I know what's coming down the line. And you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. None of us are. None of us are. This is the United States of America. We will stand on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and defend it with our lives against enemies foreign and domestic. You know why? Because we the people have the power, for we are America.